Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. I think I am live right now. If you can see me, if you can hear me, if you could please write it in the comment section or in the chat or whatever you have access to. I know sometimes some people can have access to the chat. Others are watching it from YouTube, so you can see the comments. So wherever you are at, if you could please let me know if you can see me, you can hear me, and also tell me your name. In the meantime, also tell me your name, where you're from where you're watching. So we're gonna wait a few moments to begin this live course for the 2017 creation program. If you're here, of course, it's because you pre-ordered this bad boy. I have the French version here. If you're here, it's because you pre-ordered the English one. We're going to start in a few moments. So just get comfortable. You can go get yourself a glass of water, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever you prefer. This is going to take around an hour. The first 45 minutes are going to be the, I guess, content, if we can say it like that, of this course. And then we're going to leave a little 15 minutes for questions. I did a few moments ago the French course, and there weren't any questions at the end. So it's possible that we finish in 45 minutes. And anyways, we still have 3 more. So this is the first one. So we have 3 more live courses. I know that a lot of people can't sometimes make it to the live class, but if you can't, well, no worries, because you received the recording. So right now, if you couldn't make it and you're watching this, because this is the recording and you received it. So welcome to everyone who is arriving. We're going to start in a few moments. Again, if you could please let me know in the comment section or in the chat if you can see me, if you can hear me. I believe. So welcome to everyone who is. I can hear myself and I can see myself in the little thing room of the YouTube place. So everyone get comfortable. We're going to start in a few moments. If you pre-ordered the physical copy of your Yearly Creator and you live in Canada, it's possible that you're going to receive it probably towards the end of this week or beginning of next. If you live in the United States, probably towards the end of next week. In Europe, well, it's taken a little more time, but if there's anything, you can send us an email and we're going to see with you, what we can do for the inconvenience that it took more time with Post Canada. It's never the easiest process. It takes a lot of time. I'm thinking of outsourcing in United States and shipping from United States, because I think it's going to be a lot easier and it's going to take less time. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. Welcome everyone who is here. It's a pleasure to be here with you for the first live course of the creation program. You have been receiving everyday emails from me that are part of the creation program. Today, since it's the first course, what we're going to do is that it's going to be all about understanding the first 2 sections of your Yearly Creator. I want you to understand how you can use it. If this is maybe the 2nd or 3rd year that you order the Yearly Creator, we have a lot of repeat customers who order it every year. Well, you probably already know how to use it. You can still stick around and see maybe there's some things that are new and that you didn't know that you could use it in that way. But if you're new to this, well, perhaps when you received it, because of course everyone, no matter if you ordered it in the digital format or physical format, you still receive the digital version of it, right? So if you are right now watching this, I really recommend you taking out the digital format so that you can follow with us and that you can understand each page, what it means and things like that. But you probably already have an idea, right? So if you received you received the email, but if you already opened it and you went through the pages, well, you already have an idea of what it looks like. And for some people, it's kind of complicated. Like, well, what am I supposed to do on this page and then the other page? And how am I supposed to use this and that? Well, in this course, I'm going to teach you how you can do that for the first 2 sections. In the next course, we're going to talk about the last few sections. And then the 3rd and the 4th course are going to be more about creativity and how you can use your creative powers to create the best year of your life in 2017. So of course, this program started on the 15th of this month, 15th of December, and it's going to end around the 15th of January, because I wanted to start, before the end of the year, but also with the beginning of the year, while still be with you and holding your hand through this process of creation and of creating the things that you want in your life. So once again, let's begin now. Again, welcome everyone who is here and who took the time to attend to this live broadcast. And again, if you can make it, it's not a problem. The recordings, everything is being recorded right now, and it will be sent out. Now, the Yearly Creator, the physical copy, I know a lot of people haven't received it yet, and it's normal, so don't worry, no panic. You will be receiving it if you're in Canada, United States, very, very soon. And Europe, well, we're in contact right now with people in Europe because there is a few delays, but we're trying to make it arrive as early as possible, especially before the new year, right? So since most people don't have the physical format yet, if you ordered it, of course, well, you can take out the digital formats because everyone received the digital format no matter what you order, whether it be digital or physical. So take it out on your computer so that you can follow with me. We're going to open the Yearly Creator on the first page, which is the first page is all about the personal information, right? So it's your name, everything, just in case if you lose your Yearly Creator. So it's always good to have that. Now on page 3, I'm gonna read to you what it says. Now let me hold on 2 seconds because I just realized that I have the French version, right? So I'm not gonna read it to you in French. Let me read it in English here. I'll take it out. It's in the computer. All right, so it's on a personal note. So the reason why I'm going to read this to you, and you also have it on page 3, is because I want you to understand why the Yearly Creator was created, why AVA Creations, which is a brand that next year it's going to be a big focus of mine, that I really want to grow it, well, why it actually exists, right, and why it's here. So what I say is I believe that I'm the creator of my own destiny. As a matter of fact, I believe that we are all born creators, every day shaping and forming our divine destinies with each and every decision that we take. We hold within us the most powerful creative force in the universe. It is up to us to create the future we desire. So I strongly believe that. I believe that we are all creators of our destiny, of the life that we have, and that we can create whatever we want, really, in our life. Being a female entrepreneur, author, life coach, speaker, and host and producer, planning and organizing are fundamental parts of my life. Over the past few years, I've been looking for ways to better organize and plan my days, weeks, months, and years. After testing different techniques, agendas, planners, and other organizing tools, I decided to launch my own line of time management, planning, and organizing products for women who dare to want it all and work hard to have it all. So, you know, over the years, I do a lot. I wear a lot of hats. Talking about wearing hats, you're going to see that one of the pages in the Yearly Creator is about that. Is about like the different roles that you have in your life. So I have many roles, and sometimes it can be very hard to organize and plan everything, right? Time management is never an easy task. So over the past few years, I was always on the lookout for new planners, for new organizers, for new ways that I could not only, you know, plan my time, but mostly plan like my projects, right? And so I decided to create this tool where I combine coaching strategies, but also planning strategies, right? Planning sheets and things like that. So you're going to see that with your Yearly Creator is really going to be a tool that you can use throughout the year that will help you really organize not only your time, but also your life, your ideas, your projects, and everything. So then what I say here is what I just said, is by combining my life coaching knowledge with my business experience, I've created planners that will not only help you plan, manage, and organize your life, but also improve, grow, and coach yourself. AVA Creations is a line for women who want to create the life of their dreams, a day at a time, a week at a time, a month at a time, and a year at a time. May the 2017 Yearly Creator assist you in having the best year of your life, and with love, of course, always with love. So that's the goal with this tool. That's going to be the goal with the other agendas and planners that we're planning on launching next year for 2018. We definitely want to grow the brand, and we want to have it in stores and things like that. So I appreciate you having this. You're one of the first. Well, of course, we launched it 2 years ago already. This is the 3rd edition, but I appreciate the people who, you know, they say that there's a curve of innovation that is called. I'm not going to go too much into detail about that. And they talk a lot about that in business. And they say that the first percentage is the innovators, and that's the people who actually are the first ones to go for something and who want something even before the vast majority have it. So you're part of the people who are the innovators, right? Before, let's say, the mainstream and vast majority has it. We're talking stores and you know, distribution and things like that, because it's easy for people to buy it when it's at a store, but when it's online, it's different. So I really appreciate you trusting in us and trusting in this planner. So we're going to go through all the different pages in your Yearly Creator. You can, of course, take notes so that you don't forget how to use each page. And like that is going to help you to really understand how to use this tool for you. We're going to start off by page 4. At page 4, it's called the script, as you can see on top of the page. And there's like lines. And basically what this is, I'm going to explain to you how I use, and I do this exercise with my clients when I do one-on-one coaching. It's very simple. I tell them, and now let's say I'm telling you, I say, imagine in 10 years from now, so in 2026, we meet at a cafe and we're sitting down having a cup of coffee, and I ask you, I say, tell me about your life today. So tell me about your life. What has happened? What are the things that you feel good about? You know, tell me everything about your life. And then I tell my clients, I tell them, okay, now you have to tell me in 10 years, in 2026, what would be your ideal life? So start talking to me as if you're living that like perfect life that you've always dreamed of. So they start by saying things like, I feel so happy now that I finally made my dreams become true, and I'm living in this place that I love, and I have this kind of car, and I have this career, and I'm married, and I have kids. And they start telling me all the things that they want in their life, right? So that's what I want you to do for this page, for page 4. What I want you to do is I want you to think, whether it be in 10 years or even 5 years from now, what would be your ideal and perfect life that you would absolutely love to have? And what I want you to do is I want you to write it down, and that's going to be your script. It's very important that you don't say like, in 10 years I will be. No, you have to write it in the present tense, right? So you have to say, I finally have everything that I always wanted. I have this and I have that. And I always tell my clients, you know, you need to be as precise as possible. So you need to use words like, especially I always say that there's 3 ways as humans that we express ourselves and that we see things or feel things, and it's by being visual, auditory, and also kinesthetic. So you feel things, right? So you can write a sentence where it says, I feel so good, I feel so happy, I feel so confident. You know, that's feeling, how you feel. Then see, it's I am living in this beautiful house of 3 floors, and it's like a mansion or whatever. That's what you see, because you're seeing that in your mind. And then auditory can be things like, everyone around me is telling me how proud they are of me and how incredible I am, and that I made everything become true. So that's auditory. That's what you're hearing people say. So use these 3 ways of explaining things in your script. And once you're done writing your script on page 4, the goal is not just to leave it there and then we're done, right? The goal is for you to actually read it every single day. So the goal would be to every morning, let's say when you wake up, you start reading your script and you actually feel how you would feel if that would be happening. I think that that's the most important part. You know, it's one thing if you just read it, I feel so happy now that I finally made all my dreams become true. It's not going to work, right? You have to actually feel as if it's already happening, as if it's already part of your reality. Everything is already happening, right? So that's very important for page 4. That's going to be an exercise that you get to do whenever you have time. And of course, if you can do it before the beginning of the new year, well, even better. Now we're going to go to page 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All these pages, which is the contact directory. Normally, you know, these would be the pages where you write the information of the people that are your contacts, right? The people that you know. And that's fine, you can do that, but here's what I recommend. You know, like I said, this is the Yearly Creator, right? So this is a tool that will help you create the life that you want. Now, if you want to create the life that you want, well, why not write down the names of the people that you would actually like to have in your life? So in 2017, who would you like to be in contact with? What kind of friends would you like to have? Write down their name. Perhaps you don't have their phone number or email address, but at least write down their names. And I think that that's really going to start creating that reality for you. So I always like to do that. I call that the dream contact list. So who would be your dream contacts that you would like to have in your life? So of course, like I said, if you want, you can use it for the people that you have right now in your life. That's fine. But, or the people also that you have right now in your life, but you want to have in 2017. But also, why not add the names of the people that you would like to have in your life, right? That you would like to be in contact with, and that you would like to meet and be friends with, or whatever. Now we're going to go to page 10. That's going to be celebrations 2017. So that's all the celebrations, whether it be birthdays, whether it be releases or launches that you're going to be doing, any important date in 2017. You write it down there. I created that page because I'm probably one of the worst people when it comes to birthdays. I always a person who calls you a month later because I forgot it was your birthday. So that always helps me to put it there. But this is not just about birthdays. It's about any celebration that you will have in the year of 2017. So you can write it all there. Then we're gonna go to, I hope I'm not going too fast. I hope you can follow. If I'm going too fast and if you can follow, please let me know in the comment section, and I will do my best to slow down and everything. Oh, I just saw the comments on here. There's Melissa who says, I see you. Thank you, Melissa, for assisting me in this. I just saw your comment now. So also let me know, guys, if I'm going too fast or if it's fine. Now on page 11 and 12, these are the vision board pages. Now, I really believe in having a vision board. So I don't think that because you have these pages that you can just forget about having a vision board. I really recommend you creating your own vision board and having it all nice and ready for 2017. So buying a big board and creating it on it, I actually believe in that. However, I also believe that you should have a tool that you can bring with you. You know, if let's say you go on vacation, and if you want to do visualization every day, of course, you're not going to bring your vision board with you, the plate in your luggage. So why not have like a mini vision board? And your mini vision board is going to be on page 11 and page 12. You will get to see what is the vision, basically, of your life. So same concept as a vision board. You know, you find images that represent what you want to have in your life. You cut them, and then you stick them on page 11 and 12. It's kind of like the script. You can even get inspired by your script on page 4. You can take what are the like keywords that are on your script and find images that represent those keywords, and then you cut them and you stick them on page 11 and on page 12. Then we're going to go to page 13, 14, 15, and 16. These ones are very simple, so I will go fast. I will go quickly through them. So it's the yearly goal setting. So every year, every season, also, you want to have goals and priorities. So what I mean by that is, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 pages of the yearly goal setting that have priorities, goals, and action steps. Every season, you should have 3 priorities maximum. Then you should have goals that have to do with these priorities, and then action steps that you will take in order to accomplish these priorities or big goals, objectives, right? So maybe let's say, for example, on page 13, which would be the first season, so it would be January, February, and March, you can write down at the top, let's say one of the priorities could be to start a business. So that would be a priority that you have, so to launch my business. Then when it comes to the goals, well, what would be the goal? So maybe one of the goals would be to finish my website. Then the second goal would be to do my business cards, let's say. Then the third goal would be to go register the business at the, at the government, whatever. Then the action steps. So for, let's say, the website, well, what are going to be your action steps? So first of all, let's say hire a web designer. Then the second step would be to do the first draft. And the third step would be to do a photo shoot for the pictures of the website. You know, whatever. I'm just saying anything right now just to give you like an example of how it would be. I always say that it's better to have just 3 priorities every month and not more. You can even stick to just 1 or 2 or whatever you feel like it, because I think that you don't want to like, have like a million priorities all over the place every season. I think I said month before, but I mean every season. So I think that that's very interesting to do this exercise every season. And then when we go to page 17, that's the yearly goal setting. So it's kind of the same thing. Every month, as you can see, there's all the months. You're going to write down what is the priority of the month or what is the objective of the month. So before we did the seasons and there were 3 per seasons, well, now you can even be more precise and more clear as to, okay, so every single month, what are going to be the priorities I'm going to have in that month? And again, it doesn't mean that because you have that priority that you're not going to be doing anything else during the month and that's going to be it, and that you don't have any other projects or ideas. It just means that you know what is your priority, right? It just means that you know, okay, this is what I have to focus on this month. I still have other things to do, but if let's say I had to choose between these things, well, I would know that the priority number 1 that I had is this thing. So you can take the time to do that, the yearly goal setting, and it's kind of priority setting as well, I would say. Now, we're going to get to the exercise of today of this class. So I hope you have a pen and a paper so you can write this down. As you can see from page 18 all the way to page 27. From 18 to 27, you have the same questions, okay? There's 5 questions on every page, and it's the same questions all the time, but on the side, as you can see here, it's in black here, and that's the an aspect of your life, okay? This is a piece, if I can say it like that, of your life. There are 10 in total. What we're gonna do is that you're gonna take the time, maybe this week, maybe next, whatever, to answer to the 5 questions, but for every aspect. So let's say the first page on page 18, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the same in French as in English, it's gonna be physical health, right? So for your physical health, you're gonna answer the 5 questions. Now, I'm gonna go through the 5 questions quickly. First is, what do you want to achieve? So that's the first question. And what does achieving this goal mean to you? Be specific. How will you feel, and what would it look like, and what will you hear? So that's the first question. So when it comes to your physical health, what do you want to achieve, and be very precise and exact? The second question is, how will you know when you achieve this goal? What will you need to see, feel, hear? So again, so how will you know? Where are you going to be? Is it going to be like when you fit into the jeans that you always wanted to fit in, or is it going to be when you're at a competition for fitness that you want to do? You know, the result of a goal and the idea of the result of a goal is very different from person to person, right? So you need to see, in your case, what is going to be that achievement, right? And what will it mean? So you need to explain what it is. Then what has prevented you from achieving this goal in the past? So when it comes to your physical health, when you had that goal that you wrote in question number 1, well, what has prevented you from achieving that goal in the past? So why haven't you achieved it last year, or the year before, or even this year, you know? Then what are the specific action steps that you will take to achieve this goal? So now when it comes to, again, physical health, well, what are the specific action steps, in your opinion, that you will have to take in order to achieve that goal? And then finally, what are the skills, tools, and resources that you will need to develop in order to achieve this goal? So let's say for physical health, your goal is to be part of this competition, physical and muscle competition, let's say. Well, what are the tools, resources, and skills that you will need? So maybe let's say you need a trainer. And another resource is a gym pass, you know, to go to the gym, whatever. So you need to write down those things. So it's those same questions for every aspect, for emotional health, for spirituality, for finances, for all of the 10 aspects. Now, what we're going to do together right now, and this, you don't have it in your yearly creator, but it's an exercise that you can do, let's say at the end of the year next year. It's going to be very interesting to see right now where you're at and where you're going to be next year. So if you're one of my students, you've ever taken any other class, it's possible that we already did it together, but I still think that you should do it again. So again, grab a pen and a paper. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to name every aspect one by one on every page. And for every aspect, you're going to give yourself a mark on 10, okay? So 10 being the best grade that you can give yourself, and 0 being the worst, right? So let's say I'm going to ask you, so for your physical health right now, how do you feel from 0 to 10? Do you feel closer to 10 or closer to 0? So you're going to write down what is your mark, okay? And at the end, we're going to calculate the total, and it's going to be a total on 100. So that's going to give you an idea of where you are at right now in your life. And also it's going to be very interesting to see, okay, so what are the aspects that I need to work on more than other ones, right? So we're going to do that. So I hope you're ready. We're going to begin right now. For every aspect, I'm going to give you around 5 seconds, and then we're going to move on to the other ones. Okay, so let's begin with physical health. As I said, for your physical health right now, from 0 to 10, what would be the mark that you give yourself? So I'll give you a few moments. The second aspect, it's emotional health. So for your emotional health, from 0 to 10, how much would you give yourself? The third aspect, which is on page 20, it's spirituality. So for your spirituality, from 0 to 10, how much would you give yourself? Spirituality can be, you know, religion. It can be the energies that you feel in the universe. It can be love. It can be whatever you think your spirituality is. So how connected do you feel to your spirituality from 0 to 10? I'll give you a few moments. On the page 21, we have financial freedom. So for your financial freedom, or just your finances, from 0 to 10, how much would you give yourself? 0 to 10, I'll give you a few moments. On page 22, we have career and profession. So for your career, right now, at this moment, from 0 to 10, how much would you give yourself? I'll give you a few moments. I'm sorry if you hear noises. It's outside. There was a lot of snow today, and the trucks are removing the snow, so we hear like a lot of noises. On page 23, it's your social support. So your social support. So that means friends, family. So how do you feel when it comes to that? Do you know that there's people who are there for you? How would you feel from 0 to 10? 0 again being the worst and 10 being the best. So I'll give you a few moments. On page 24, we have recreation and fun. So that means the fun that you have in your life. Do you take the time to have fun? Do you take the time to do things that you like? Do you take the time to, just have fun really in your life? So from 0 to 10, how much would you give yourself from 0 to 10? Now on page 25, this is time management and organization. This usually is one, I don't know why, but I know it's always one that people do like, oh no, not that one. So for this one, how much would you give yourself? From 0 to 10, what would be the grade that you give yourself? I'll give you a few moments. Then on page 26, we have personal development and learning. So when it comes to you learning, to growing, I think that, the fact that you're here watching this and the fact that you ordered this yearly creator, I think that you should give yourself more than 5 for sure. 5 is like being at the middle. You should for sure give more than 5, but I'll let you choose. So from 0 to 10, how much would you give yourself? What would be your grade for this one? I'll give you a few moments. Perfect. And now we have the last one. The last one on page 27 is love and relationships. So relationship love, really. So when it comes to love, how much would you give yourself from 0 to 10? What would be your mark from 0 to 10 for love? Give you a few moments. Perfect. So by now you should have finished with every aspect. Now what I want you to do, of course, is take the time to calculate how much you have on 100. So I'll give you again a few little moments for that, and then we'll move on. Then I'll explain, your grade on 100, and then we can move on to the next pages. Okay. So I'll give you a few moments to calculate how much you have on 100. Perfect. So if you haven't finished, you can take the time to do it after. Now, if you have a low score, it's not the end of the world, okay? I always say that the first time I did this in 2009, I had 23 on 100. So trust me that it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you know where you're at now. You know what you have to improve. You know which aspects you need to work on. And now, of course, take the time to respond to all of the questions, right, of the questionnaire, of every aspect, to respond to the 5 questions, and that's going to give you a better idea on how to improve all of these aspects. So no matter what you have on 100, again, the goal is not to make you feel bad. The goal is to improve and to work on all of these things. Now, we're going to move on to the next pages. We're going to go quickly over the next pages because they're very self-explanatory. So I don't think I need to spend too much time explaining what they mean. Let's say on page 28, it's the negative and positive sheet. What this means is that you have the beliefs, you have the values, and then you have the attitudes. So what are the negative beliefs, values, and attitudes that you have, and what are the positive beliefs, habits, beliefs, values, and attitudes that you have? So by doing this, you'll get to see, first of all, if you have more bad than positive, of course, more negative than positive, but you'll also see, okay, so what is it that I have to leave in 2016? So what is it that I have to just let go of? And what is it that I need to work on to improve even more, right? So what is it that I already have? Let's say some beliefs that I already have that I should, really work on and that I should focus on. So that's always a fun little exercise to do. On page 29, another fun little exercise to do, it's called Take the Trash Out. And what you're gonna do is that you're gonna write down, first of all, who are the toxic people that you have to let go of? What are the self-destructive habits that you need to let go of? What are the destructive also beliefs that you need to let go of? What is the unnecessary things that you need to let go of? Very often we accumulate so much junk in our lives. You have things in your home that you no longer use, that you no longer need. So what is it that you need to just, let go of and leave in the past? Wardrobe. The reason why I put a wardrobe is because I truly believe that the way that we dress very often is a signification of how we feel, right, on the inside, but also of our style. That's why they call it style, because it's about what you want to project. So what style do you want to project? So if you feel like your wardrobe right now is not a representation of the person that you want to become, well, what are the outfits that maybe you need to let go of in order to later on receive? I think that's how the universe works. When you make space, well, new things come into your life, whether it be when it comes to clothes or when it comes to people or really anything. And then we have the foods. So what are the kind of foods that you don't want to eat anymore in 2016? So is there certain junk foods that you have to stop eating, that are not good for you? So take the time to do this fun exercise on page 29 also. It's always fun. Page 30 and page 31, it's called the strength and weakness sheet. So we talk about to do an inventory of your strengths, of your weaknesses, also to do an inventory of your habits or beliefs or negative conditions that you have and that you want to eliminate. What are the ones that you need to work on? So just answer. Again, it's very self-explanatory, so I don't need to spend too much time explaining this. You just need to go one by one by the questions and start answering. Same thing for page 32 and 33. You simply need to answer all the questions that you see here, and just, it will give you a better idea of it will help you, define your goals and objectives. So that's what these pages are for. Page 34 and 35, that's just 2 fun pages that I put in the Yearly Creator, because I don't know if it ever happened to you. For me, especially when it comes to Alexandra TV, as I mentioned in my videos on YouTube, I think in some Alexandra TV episodes I talked about it. We film Alexandra TV once a year. Well, this year we decided to do it twice a year. But for the rest of the year, the remainder of the year, we're not shooting, we're not filming Alexandra TV. So here's what happens. Throughout the year, I accumulate ideas for topics of Alexandra TV. So perhaps I'm having a conversation with someone and the person says something really interesting, or we start talking about something and I say, oh my God, that would be such a good idea for an Alexandra TV episode. I need to write it down. So I put it on my cell phone. Then after that, I'm watching something or I'm reading something. I'm like, oh my God, that would be a really good idea. So again, I write it down, but then I forget. And then I have them all over the place, whether it be in my agenda, my weekly agenda, whether it be on my phone. And I have these ideas everywhere. So I decided to create these 2 pages so that we can compile everything in one place and we don't need to spend our time looking for these ideas, right? So I can, of course, write it down on your phone, and then when you get home, you write it down here. So that's just 2 fun pages for the brilliant ideas that you have. And then we have page 36. That's the bucket list, as simple as that. It's the life goals, but in other words, it's your bucket list. So what are the goals? So the bucket list that you have, and then the time frame. So if, let's say you want to jump from a plane and parachute, well, Do you want to do it before 2018? Do you want to do it before 2020? So just write down like the time frame of when you would like to do it. I always say when we have goals, dreams, objectives, if it's not written down and if it doesn't have a timeline, it's usually never going to happen. So might as well write down your bucket list and give it a timeline for all of the things that you want to do. So that's for the first section of your yearly creator. We're going to move on to the second section, which is the project. Let me just see if there's questions. No, we're fine. Perfect. So we're going to go to the project section. In this project section, basically, there's a lot of repeat. What I mean by that is that the project crafter, there are 3 pages that go with that, and we repeat them a lot of times in the yearly creator, because I know that you won't have just like one project the whole year, right? So I decided to create more repeat of these pages. So let me explain to you how to use them. On page 38, we have the project crafter. On top, you write down the name of the project, of course. Then you write down the description of that project, and then on the bottom you write down what are the resources and budget that you will need for that project. So what are the different resources that you will need, the different, maybe you need to have a certain amount of money on the side, or you simply need to meet a certain person, to whatever you will need to make that project come to life, write it down there. So what are the kind of little objectives that you need in order to accomplish the big objective, right? The bigger plan. Page 39, it's called brainstorming. I love this because I think it's something that you can use, whether it be if, let's say, you can find the name of the project. So you know what the project will be, but perhaps you can find the name. So let's say the project is to write a book, so to complete writing your book. But then you're like, oh, but I don't know how I'm going to call it. So what you can do is you can write down on page 39 in the brainstorm, you can create even more little bubbles, and you can write down different words. So if, let's say, you're writing a book on self-help, or you can write personal development, growth, loving yourself, confidence, and you write down all these key words. And then with that, you kind of can assemble them and you kind of can see how it goes. Or let's say also brainstorming, you can use it for that. I use it a lot for that. I use it for when I feel like my brain is about to explode because I have too many ideas and I have too many projects and I have too many things that I have to do and I just don't even know what to do with all these things floating in my head. Well, that's when I like to do brainstorming. I like to take all these ideas and put them on the paper, and then it just feels good. You feel more relaxed, and then you can, by seeing them in the physical world and no longer just in your mind, well, it's easier to make sense out of it, right? So you can use that page for that. And then we have page 40, which is the plan of action. So what you wrote on page 38, the project crafter. So for that project, what is the plan of action? First of all, what are the action steps that you need to take? What are the constraints? So what are like the roadblocks that you might possibly have? What are the resources that you will need in order to pass through those roadblocks? And what is the progress? What I like to do with this is I like to use colors very often. So when I didn't start that step, I put in blue. Then when I started, I put it in green, and then when I finish it, it's in red. So I like to put 3 little dots as I go along, so that helps me to see where I am at with each step. And then for the timeline, well, I just put the date when it has to be accomplished. So if, let's say, your main project, again, is to write the book. Well, maybe you need to finish it. You're going to give yourself the timeline of, I need to finish it before December 2017. Well, then what are all these steps that you have to take, and what are the timelines? If you know that you have to finish in December 2018, well, so maybe there's the first step, you need to finish it before the 31st of January 2017. Then the other one is before the February 15th, you know, as you go along, so that you're gonna end up on time, right? So that you're gonna be able to have the project completed by the timeline that you give yourself. So these 3 pages repeat themselves until we arrive to page 53. So then we get to page 53, and it's what I talked about a few moments ago, the roles. So we all have different roles in our lives, whether it be that you are a worker, and then you're a mom, and then you are a wife, and then you are also maybe a student part-time. We have different roles, right? So what you want when it comes to these roles is that you actually want to write them down, and write down what are the responsibilities and the priorities that each of these roles have, and what are the things that you need to work on to make this role that you have better, right? To make yourself better, should I say, at that role. So you can use page 53 for that. I think it's very interesting to see, okay, so what are my different roles, priorities, responsibilities for each one of them, and then what should I work on as well. So that's always interesting. Too fast, please let me know and you can stop me, okay? Page 54, 55, 57, 56, 57, that's the 90-day plan. So I really believe in 90 days and the whole concept of 90 days of seasons. I think that if you divide your time like that, instead of seeing it like a whole year, it's much more effective. You accomplish more things. So every season, let's say now where the year is going to begin, January, February, March, let's say that's the first 90 days of the year. Well, what are going to be your primary priorities? Primary priorities are usually the priorities that you have even every season. It's, you know, the things that you know that no matter what season it is, no matter what month it is, that's what you have to do. Then the seasonal priorities are that season. What do you need to focus on? What is a priority that you have? And then at the end of the page, it says, by the end of the season, I will have accomplished. And then you write down what you will need to have accomplished, right, for that season. So that's always interesting to do this exercise. Again, there's a few sheets on that so that you can do it for every season. And then to complete this section, we have page 58, 59, 60, and 61, and 62. We actually have one more extra because normally the schedule, again, I would like you to do it every season. The reason why we do it every season is because by season things can change, right? Your schedule can change. So as we did for the contact directory, what I would like you to do would be to do what would be your ideal schedule, right? So what would be an ideal schedule that you would have? Not necessarily the schedule that you know you will have, but what would be ideal, let's say, for January, February, and March, so for the first 90 days. So you can write down that schedule on page 58. On page 59, well, April, May, and June. So what would be your ideal schedule at that point? So the moment you wake up in the morning, what would you do? So would you wake up and have breakfast, or would you wake up and have meditate and then go to take a run? So what would be ideal for you? Same thing at night, you know, when you're about to go to sleep, what would be the ideal thing to do, right? So I think that's very important to do it like that in order to create, how can I say, this schedule that is aligned with the life that you want to live, right? I think that that's what you need to do instead of just living your day and letting other external circumstances come and dictate how you live your days. I think it's important that you actually create the schedule that you want. Perhaps at the beginning, you're not going to be able to live it. You know, if you're working at a job where you don't have that much flexibility with your days, well, perhaps you're not going to be able to. But just like the script, you know, the script that you created, well, that's in 5 years and 10 years what you would want. So maybe you can try the same thing for the schedule and create what would be the ideal life, the ideal daily life that you would have. So that's for the first two sections of this planner, of this yearly creator. The first two sections are all about coaching, right? They're all about kind of your projects, your ideas, and things like that. Now, the next course, which is next week, we will go through the planning of your months. Okay, so we have all the months here, and we're going to go through how you plan your month and how I do it to plan my month. So we're going to dive more into that. And like I said, for the two last courses, what we're going to do is that it's going to be all about like creativity. Okay, so how you can create the year that you want. So what we're going to do now is that it's going to be question time. So if you have, let me just go see here. I have the chat here. Let me open this. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, okay, I want you to feel free to ask them right now in the comment section, in the chat, or anything, and I will be more than happy to answer them. Now, if you don't want to ask questions because you're shy or something, don't worry. You can always send us an email, and we'll be more than happy to answer. So I'm going to wait a few moments, see if you have any questions, and then we're gonna say bye-bye. You know, if you don't have any questions, let me just wait a little. It can be about the yearly creator, it can be about creativity, it can be about anything really. I'll wait a little more. Just had the French one, and like I said, in the French one there were no questions. And in a few moments we have the English one, the Spanish one, I mean. that we're also going to do. So we're doing it in the 3 languages. My voice is starting to hurt now, but I'll be fine. I'm used to doing it in the 3 languages all the time. So I'll wait a little more, and if not, we're gonna say bye-bye. All right. Well, I think we don't have any questions. You guys are making it easy. I appreciate that. Like I said, my throat is starting to hurt, so that's always a good thing that there's no questions. But again, we have 3 more courses. So again, if there's going to be any questions in the 3 other courses, you can, you're more than welcome to send them over to me. You can also send them by email. It's not a problem. Or when you want, you know, especially if you weren't here live, or when you watch the recording, you can always ask us the question. Well, I guess we're gonna say bye-bye for now, and next week, well, you will be receiving the link to the next live course, and that is that. So it was really a pleasure. I appreciate your presence, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, there's a question that just showed up. Okay. When you talk about setting goals for the season, should we set them at the beginning of the year? Very good question. Thank you, Melissa. I almost hung up the moment you asked the question. Very good question that I think everyone will be able to take advantage from. It depends, right? It depends on if you are able to really plan the whole year in advance and know what are the priorities. Good for you, do it. However, if you're not that, if you can say like that, advanced when it comes to planning, well, do it as the seasons go. I personally, and that's me personally, especially for my business, we plan everything ahead, right? So I already planned 2017 back at the beginning of November. So that's already done. Like every priority is already written down, because it's very special. I think at the beginning of my business, it would have been harder to plan like that. But now that we actually have an idea of how years go, we've seen it in the past, we know what are the projections for this next year for all the months. Well, we all planned it, right? We all planned it in advance. But if you're starting with planning and it's something new to you, well, you can of course do it. You can adjust it like you just wrote or readjust it every month. You can always definitely do that. But very good question. Is there any other question that you have or that any other person has? I'll wait a few moments more, and then we can say bye-bye. But that's a very good question, Melissa. Thank you for asking. So it's true that I didn't mention it actually in the French, in Spanish, I mean, course. I'm gonna make sure to say that, because that's really good. I'll wait a few moments more. I need to go get more water. This. Okay, so Melissa says, awesome, makes sense now. Perfect. So if there's any other questions, I'll stick around, and if not, we will say bye-bye. And again, for the people who haven't received the Yearly Creator, don't worry, you will receive it soon. There were some delays in the shipping and even the production of the planner. It's when you do it in 3 languages, that's the most difficult. My graphic designer, she speaks in Spanish only, so to do it in 3 languages, it's a lot of work for her. And when it comes to like writing, I send the text, but sometimes she makes mistakes. It's very crazy, but it's worth it. I'm happy that people all over the world get to have this and use it, so it's always very nice. All right, well, I think there's no more questions, so we're gonna say bye for now, and we will see each other next week for the next live program. And also, if not, you're gonna receive the recording. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys very soon. Have a nice day, and Merry Christmas for this weekend, if you celebrate Christmas, of course. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.